Hi, I'm Dan Razzano from Razzano Homes and Remodelers. We're here today to talk with Sean Duff from Duff's Power Equipment about the benefits to having a generator. Sean, how you doing? Thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
Could you tell us some of the benefits to having a generator for backup at your home?
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the time what we see in the market is people are most concerned with their sump pump in their basement. Either a storm comes through and there's a high water table, and next thing you know the pump's not working. They put a remodeled basement in, and then next thing you know that's all ruined because the pump never came on. A lot of other reasons we put generators in is people have elderly parents at home, right? And they're just worried about the heat being on or for
Conditions.
whatever reason. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yep.
So what would be some of the different types of fuel that would power the generators? I mean, can you install the generators anywhere, and how do they operate?
For the most part, by code, we have to be 5 feet from any window. So a lot of times when you have landscaping and the customer already has a preconceived idea where they want it, sometimes it can't always go there because of code. But,
Right.
Fuel options are, the three big ones are liquid propane, natural gas, and diesel. And for most residential homes, we use propane or natural gas.
Right.
Natural gas, when you put a natural gas generator in, you are working off of a natural gas grid. So I usually just try to go, if you're going to put a generator in to back up your electrical grid, then why not be a little safer and get away from the natural gas grid, which could also, in some catastrophic event, go down. So propane, yes, it's a truck delivery, but if you have a big enough tank, you can run 4 or 5 days off of your generator, off of that propane tank, where you're kind of relying on a natural gas grid. So that's usually a 1 or 2 day thing, but customers are different. They plan for different reasons.
Yeah. So even if the house had natural gas, had the ability to have natural gas run to it, you would still recommend that the customer have some kind of propane tank to operate that's exclusive for the generator.
Of course, but 90% of the time, the customer just wants the simple installation of going with natural gas, and I don't talk them out of it, but if you're going to put the propane tanks in, then why not go with the propane? You know what I mean?
Right. So if the customer has natural gas brought into their home already and it's existing, you would still recommend that they go with the propane generator?
Yeah, I suggest it just because I do feel like we are building another grid of natural gas, which you're relying on that natural gas delivery being underground and always being readily available.
Right.
We don't know, it's earthquake, some type of earth movement where you break a main gas line.
Natural disaster.
Yeah, you could have all the generators you want. They're not going to run if they're on natural gas. Correct.
Gas line failure for whatever reason. Something like
Fire departments, for instance, we put them all on diesel generators because they're not reliant on the natural gas grid.
Their own energy source, basically.
Correct. Their own fuel source.
Their own fuel source, yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Okay.
So that's always where we start with that, and that's what I try to do with the customers.
So is there any innovative technologies that would really benefit the customer at this point that have come a long way since, installing generators maybe 10, 20 years ago?
Yes, there's a couple. I mean, the biggest one, the first one, is they now have a Gen-ready load center that has your transfer switch, which brings you from utility to generator power right there built into your what everybody knows is a circuit breaker panel, which we call a load center.
So that is basically your electrical box.
Correct.
So instead of installing a regular electrical box, you would install an electrical box that's already designed to handle a generator, and then your normal, your normal breakers and your normal wiring would get wired into this box.
Right.
And then now, let's say you install a generator. Now you can install a generator a year from now, and it'll just plug right in.
Yeah, it's just giving you the availability when you're ready.
Yeah.
The transfer switch is already there. Every time a generator comes on, you have to find a way to transfer or make a switch that goes from the generator to the house and then back to utility. This is already built into one.
Right.
So anytime you're upgrading your service, anytime you have an electrician coming in and doing any big upgrades, it's good to have the generator already load center put right in.
Yep.
And then if you wait 3 years down the road, I can come in and just put the generator, wire it right into that transfer switch, and it saves so much on installation time and cost.
So it would be very beneficial for the customer.
Absolutely.
If, especially, you know, whether they're building a new home or remodeling, that they work with us, work with our electrician, work with you all at the same time, and we can coordinate this together to make it more of a seamless approach.
Absolutely. And it's a 200 amp ready switch, so it handles what every customer is pretty much using as it anyway. Now you can go to 400 amp, which is much bigger than the typical ones you see in the normal residential house, but that's a totally different topic. But for most of the ones you see residential wise, this will handle all that.
Right.
Yep.
So Sean, what is it that you really genuinely like about doing installing generators?
For me, it's an industry thing. It takes two very technical trades and it combines them. So you've got to be an electrician and you've got to be a mechanic because that generator incorporates both of those.
Okay.
So a lot of electricians will install a generator, yet they don't service them because the mechanical side is there, the engine part of it.
Yeah.
So I have to be very knowledgeable and very good at how those two things work together. And there's not a lot of us out there. There's not a lot of generator technicians out there.
Yep.
And when you combine those two things and you're also providing a good service for homeowners, it's a win-win. I feel every day like I'm not going to work. I love what I do. And I think there's a lot of growth and potential for anything I do with my customers out there, you know.
Sean, thanks again for coming in. This is Sean Duff from Duff's Power Equipment, here to talk about the benefits to having a generator for your home. I'm Dan Razzano from Razzano Homes and Remodelers. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.